How you feel?
Feel good.
God, where her mother at? Where this little girl mother at?
People are stunned that the robbery suspect is just 12 years old. And then this past Sunday, that's when police tracked down one of the suspects, that 12-year-old girl, charging her with all the robberies. People who live in the neighborhood are shocked that the suspect is so young.
God, where her mother at? Where this little girl mother at? Where they role models at? Where's the adults? That's the question we all trying to figure out.
It's a sad and unfortunate, reality that we live in.
And tonight, police tell me that they are continuing this investigation, and they say that there are other juveniles who took part in these robberies. Well, if you have any information, call D.C. Police. There is a reward of up to $1,000 for information that leads to more arrests and indictments. I'm Shamari Stone here in Northeast. Back to you.
How you feel?
Feel good.
When we talking about real shit or we talking about rhyme? You talking about millions or you talking about mine? What we talking about?
Yo, bust it!
Look at you!
On the dance floor.
Look at you! Look at you!
I ain't got no pennies on the dance floor.
Spiritual concept. An often misunderstood or unknown spiritual concept that variably slows up spiritual development is the concept of glamour, which is associated with mental and emotional fog. So what tends to happen along a person's spiritual development is that they start off on fire, they want to tell people about it, they go into botanicas, they get in books, they reading them, they taking notes, they joining groups, and they're so excited about this spiritual development. But if nobody introduced the concept of glamour in reference to your spiritual development, there's a more than average chance that your whole spiritual development is pertaining to the ego and not pertaining to the soul. Glamour is not like a woman walking down the runway or a magazine. Glamour is identified as emotional and mental fog. And another easier way to understand it is when you are possessed by glamour, everything that you think about and subsequently feel is in relation to what you see in the mirror. And the irony about these mirrors is that they surround you at a 360-degree turn, but they're not physical mirrors. They're mental and emotional mirrors. So everything you think about and everything you feel is pertaining to you and is not pertaining to your soul. In order to deal with your soul, you have to understand that you are surrounded by mirrors and break through those mirrors and start living in the real world. The true spiritualist is not looking for a claim to fame. The true spiritualist is taking the next best step. Whatever is in front of it, it is moving towards it. And in order to move, you move through deep love and deep bliss, which you find through connecting your mind, your mental and emotions to your soul, because your soul has a distinct emotion, and that distinct emotion is bliss. So in reference to glamour and staring in the mirrors, you either love the way you look or hate the way you look, but you're only staring in a mirror, so it makes no difference. Right now, think of it literally. If a person was surrounded by 360 degrees of mirrors and everything that they saw was themselves, and you was walking past them, you would think it don't really matter what you look like because you only contemplating and thinking about yourself. So part of spiritual development is connecting you to other people at an unconscious level. It's not like you promoting your business or trying to sell people stuff. You're just existing in the underground or the collective unconscious. And the way that you are connecting through people, through your mind, through your emotions, is pure bliss. Now, if you suffer from possession of glamour, everything you think and everything you feel eventually is going to be frustration. And the reason why you're so frustrated is because you're constantly looking inside a mirror. And there is no resolve for just staring at a mirror. You're just looking at yourself, and not literally. There's a clinical term called solipsism, and I might be pronouncing that completely wrong, but this is a condition where people think that the only people that exist is them. So everybody in their life is there to serve them or to appease them or to support them. But in reality, that's never the case. And when you think about a true spiritualist who is a true steward of humanity, who wishes to uplift and upgrade humanity by specific downloads from the underground collective unconscious, if you are selfish, you are not going to approach your spiritual life with the proper vigor that is necessary for people to pick up on it. So the thing of bliss and love, these are feelings that you develop through meditation. And the subsequent next step to developing this deep bliss and deep love for self is to share that deep bliss and share that deep love for self. Because in reality, that's what people are missing. In reality, most people are suffering from emotional and mental glamour. And in order to break through, you don't just break through mental and emotional glamour to say, all right, I'm about to start thinking about people. I'm about to start caring for people. You miss the crucial step and the whole point of being in this situation in the first place. In Hindu, it's called Ananda Maya Kosha. And this is described as a deep rest and a deep love for the self, a deep bliss for connecting with the soul. And so if you have not uncovered this feeling within yourself, there is no thing that is going to contribute to it. This is a one-on-one game that you need to deal with. And when you fully and truly love yourself at the deepest spiritual soul-led levels, the mirrors collapse. And then once the mirrors collapse, you're like, what do I do now? I've been living in a fake world this whole entire time. What do I do now? You can only do what is directly in front of you and do the best that you can do with whatever is in front of you, and you'll be perfectly fine. I guarantee it. Peace of the tribe, peace of the collective. I see y'all on the flip side. Concept that very
in Mullins. Now, what is happening? What had happened in Mullins, a little small town that had disappeared from years ago, is starting to happen in the bigger cities. Columbia being a bigger city, as a result, is starting to die. It's starting to die. That's very key. This is an Indian mythology of the triple cities starting to be destroyed. So let me explain to people what's actually going on. What's actually going on.
Yes, yes.
This is nothing but an illusion. It's called Maya. It's an illusion. And this illusion is sustained by something that is called glamour. So glamour is what the glamour is what makes this illusion, it makes this illusion function. So glamour is what the ego taps into, and it taps into, and when the ego taps into this glamour, it makes this illusionary world that we live in possible to live in based on this glamour. So what it does, it takes something that is nothing, something that is an illusion, and the glamour aspect of that particular illusion, because illusion is called Maya, the glamour aspect of that illusion, what it does, it makes things appealing to the ego that sustains and keeps you locked into this illusion based on glamour. Based on glamour. I'll read a couple of things on what this glamour is in a few seconds. But the point I'm trying to make here is this. This is what's happening. This illusion Because we live in a world, it's the same thing Matrix explained it to you when he said you've been living in a dream world. You've been living in a dream world. Now, what happens here is because there really is no physical world, it's only basically what the brain is telling you it is, but the brain is being activated through glamour. And glamour is any kind of appealing thing that's visual, emotional, and psychological. And as a result, it makes this appear to be real. So what has happened here is, when I went back to South Carolina, I went into a world that actually is not there anymore. What is happening here is the worlds are disappearing. It's just that the glamour is still keeping this thing in an apparent state that really doesn't exist. So what I was feeling the other day with the particular glamour, I was feeling the other day, was in actuality, I had gone into a zone outside of my area of comfort, or my area of spiritual, because my whole house and my world is set up spiritually. So when I went back to South Carolina, that world is actually disappearing. And all it was an illusionary phenomenon that I was dwelling in for a couple of hours. And as a result, my spirit had to go back down to a dead state just to exist there for a couple of hours. And as a result, that's when it caught up to me. That's when I started coming down because I had to fight all day. I go to war with shit, to make sure that I'm healthy. But nevertheless, this is what has happened. These dimensions are changing, and they're disappearing. So what's getting ready to happen? When I first started off, I said it takes a while for stuff to completely manifest into the physical. But if these things are disappearing, then what's going to happen? It's going to, like they say, the twinkling of an eye is going to catch up with the spirit, with the physical world, and they say midday one day, this shit is just going to disappear. And we're on the cusp of that because the simple fact, we have the army, we have the spirits now that is gaining control because of they were able to exit the bodies in an abrupt fashion, i.e. Haiti, Katrina, Rwanda. You see what I'm saying? The tsunami. And as a result, their energies are actually destroying what they call the triple cities of the demons. Now, of the demons, the triple cities. So now, what does it all mean? The demon is nothing but the higher, is the one's own genius. So what is happening here right now is, in any relationship that you are having that is not going right with a person that you are dealing with, you are creating that relationship. So you are creating the world that you live in from inside out. So if you got something that's going on in your life that is either in a relationship, a financial, a meltdown, or anything, you are creating it from the inside out. What you have to realize is what you have to do is change your perception and create what you want from the inner realm. And just basically by seeing what you want to happen, imagining what you want to happen, because that is the real world. This is the illusionary world, illusionary world, but you are actually being duped by it because you're thinking it's real with the glamour. Only thing you have to do is to go inside and say, this shit ain't real, and what I want to create for myself, I have the ability to do it. Long as I understand that the world that is so tragic for me, I'm bringing it on myself. I'm bringing it on myself. You see, if you're in a relationship and your husband is a slob, and your husband, you see what I'm saying, is an idiot and a demon, you create in yourself what you want your husband to be. So you go in your mind. If you can do this for your wife, you can do this for your girlfriend, you can do this for your friends. You say, well, I'm going to go inside. I want this person here to be this, and I will create this person on the inside of me what I want it to be on the outside of me. And guess what? Your husband, your friend, your contact, your workspace, everything will change based on you have the ability to create it.
That's right. That's right.
Here? Because this is an illusion. It's all gone now. It doesn't exist anymore. You see?
Right.
So let me give you some things of what glamour is. And so glamour is, until I get to the crux of what I'm really here for and tell you what it's all turned out to be. You're going to be blown away by this. But glamour, now glamour of physical strength. These are the things with glamour. It's a ray. It's an actual ray. It's a current, and you got to break that current and all. So I'm going to give you understand what this is about. Glamour of physical strength. The glamour of personal magnetism. The glamour of self-centeredness and personal potency. The glamour of selfish personal ambition. The glamour of rulership and dictation of wide control. The glamour of the Messiah complex in a field of politics. The glamour of selfish destiny of the divine right of kings and personality exacted. So these divine right of kings, myself, destiny. The glamour of destruction, the glamour of isolation and alienation and aloofness, the glamour of superimposed will upon others and upon groups. Get out of them groups, because the people, those group leaders are in a state of glamour, that they even got to have you follow them. The glamour of love, the glamour of the love of being loved. I just want to be loved. That's a glamour. I just want to be loved. The glamour, you see, the glamour of popularity, the glamour of personal wisdom, the glamour of selfish responsibility, the glamour to complete and complete and understanding which negates the right of action, the glamour of self-pity, a basic glamour that is a race. Self-pity is a glamour. The glamour of Messiah complex in the world of religion and the world of need. The glamour of fear based on undue sensitivity. The glamour of self-sacrifice. The glamour of selfishness and unselfishness. Oh, I'm going to give to the people. I'm going to give to the people. My people, that's glamour too. The glamour of self-satisfaction. The glamour of self-service. The glamour of self-service. I mean, it's some glamour of war. It just goes on and on and on. And this basically is the basic functions of psychological behavior of the people. And you're creating all of this stuff through the glamour and what you've been programmed. And basically, you can go inside and you can create the world that you want, because guess what? The physical world, the world that we think is really not here. It's just created on illusions by glamour.
Yes.
You all right?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
We are with you. We are with you, Brother Bobby. You can't hear me?
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. One in the chat if you can hear me okay. One in the chat if you can hear me okay. While that is being done, I just want to give thanks to the ancestors, those known and unknown. Give thanks to the spirits, the deities, the gods, the goddesses, the messengers, the prophets, the angels, the demons, all of the celestial beings, all of the universal beings, all of the currents, all of the concurrents, witches, warlocks, sages, wizards, fairies, sorceresses, sorcerers, all of my practical magic practitioners, all of my ritualists, hoodooists, Ifa, Santeria, the most hated people in the world for simply trying to understand spirit on their terms, because maybe you don't agree with what people are saying. And so I want to give thanks to Alice Bailey for this message. Can y'all hear me? One's in the chat if y'all can't hear me. Might be a delay as well. But thank you, Alice Bailey. As much as I've referenced this book, I haven't really read it. And the reason why is because of the words that she uses. They're not easy words to grasp. However, we do have a tool for navigating that difficulty now, which is etymology. And what I'm going to do is break down the 4 major aspects of glamour, using mainly etymology to teach. So I find this method of teaching to be kind of ironclad, inescapable, no way to argue it, because we dealing with the root combinations of the words to come to obvious conclusions of what these words meant. uh, much more in depth than a dictionary, whereas a dictionary in 2005 is going to be different from a dictionary in 2023, is also going to be much different from a dictionary in 1852, meaning that they shift with the times. The etymology is the root for as these words begin to change. And some of these words we don't even really use. But when you put these words in a proper context, it makes all of the sense in the world. And so the difficulty about this messaging and then this content is that the world is pretty much completely modern and external. And for me, it seems as though there's not as much space for spiritual conversations. However, me, I'm just either going with the tide or going against the tide, where I'm just cutting off from regularly scheduled programs. I don't care about the algorithm. I know that many people are not going to understand what I'm saying and what I'm talking about because the way that the world has moved so aggressively towards dumbing everything down and making everything so short form. That to me just maybe call me old school, call me old fashioned, call me, what, call me what you want to call me, right? But I like getting in depth with the information and I like to provide content for those who don't mind spending time understanding concepts. And so, without further ado, I want to bring us to the first word that we're going to study is from pathology, which is the science of diseases, right? But once again, in 2025, right, or in the modern era, this would be the science of the diseases. But in Greek, which we even have the word pathos, it means suffering. But suffering in a Judeo Christian context simply means passions, right? So the study of your passions, which makes a lot of sense. Your passion is your path. And since, I mean, some of y'all look so good, you can walk outside and, you could just hop in a Cadillac and drive off into the sunset. Some of y'all live like that. But for the most of us, when we choose a path, when we choose a passion, that indicates that we're willing to suffer. Now, suffering don't necessarily mean getting whipped on your back or nothing like that. Suffering could simply mean that I put in the hours necessary for this passion to come into fruition. But if you're not looking at that, the human condition for most humans, most people, shit. You talk to most people, they like, yeah, I wanted to sing, I wanted to rap, I wanted to do YouTube, but I just kind of, just got me a job and played it safe. I had to take care of these kids. And the thing about me is like, what part of having kids meant that you had to shut your life down? I never seen it. Michael Jordan had kids. LeBron James had kids. Imagine LeBron James said, I had to retire, man. I got these kids. No, your passion is still your passion, regardless of like, it's one of the most intuitive things that you should be in tune with. But unfortunately, a majority of us in the modern world, we suffer from glamour. Glamour is a world problem. And this book was written in the 1920s, talking about a world that's not much different than the world that we are living in, because there hasn't been any specific Negredo. There hasn't been any specific psychological alchemy, because at the end of the day, people still black. At least this is what they feel. People still black. People still white. People still have nationalities. People still following the Bible. People still going in and out of, like, the same things is happening. And we as humanity have not reached, well, we are approaching that point, because we have to think about this, right? We're talking about the Gregorian calendar, which was created in like 1582, right? I know that's mad wild to say. Gregorian calendar created. I'm cold with this shit, y'all. I don't even be that. I'm usually not that on point with dates. 1582, the Gregorian calendar was created. One's in the chat if y'all can read that. Let me move my big head ass out the way so y'all can read it and see it. One's in the chat if you can read that the Gregorian calendar was created in 1582. Okay? So what that tells me is that the numerology could be easily encoded within this new calendar, because 1 plus 5 is 6, 8 and 2 is 10. That would be 7, right? They create their calendar on the 7, right? To me, it's like a recent phenomenon. It's not like some old ancient mistake that we enter into 2025, which is a 9-year. 9 is the year before it all resets back to 1, right? 2026, which I promise you that 2026, the whole shit is going to be back to 1. However you feel about it, however it looks, the ways for which a society that is completely materialistic, without no direction, without no hope, without no focus, and it has been like this for generations, there has to be a certain level of a reset. So what would be the benefit of studying this particular subject on a Monday night? You would be able to solve a world problem within yourself. So, once again, without further ado, within this particular masterclass, within this particular presentation, I'm going to run through all of the aspects of glamour. I'm going to touch on the name, the plane, the opposite energy. So, in reference to illusion, the opposite of illusion is intuition. So, you either paying attention to the illusion, whatever that might be. The illusion is a great big world of nothing, right? Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise and shit like that. Or intuition, following what your soul is telling you to do, going up against the grain and really putting yourself in a position, whether it is through education, whether it is through meditation, whether it is just through simple higher vibration and inner peace. The plane that it exists on, it exists in the mental plane. We're going to get into all of this from an etymological point of view. And the reason why is because mainly the objective. All four of these words were words that I didn't even know what they meant. Dispel, dissipation, devitalization, discrimination. In this particular sense, I had no idea what they meant. So I had to really screenshot the etymology and to whereas I can make sense of this. Because as much as I'm talking about glamour, it's still like it's hard to convey what exactly it is. And so throughout this presentation, by the end of it, you will know exactly what glamour is and how it manifests and where it manifests at. Because as easy as I can tell you, all right, in your major city, where downtown is at. You would know exactly where downtown is at. You done been there 1,000 times. You know where downtown is at. But then if I could say, all right, explain to me what being happy is. What exactly is you being happy? What is that? What is that? And write that down in a paragraph. Most people say, "I man, I can't explain that. I can't write that down. That is I can't identify it." That's the same way as I'm saying, where's downtown at? You're like, man, I can't find it. I don't know where downtown is at. I can't identify it. I've never been. I've never had to go there. And what I'm really saying, as far as teachers and information and speakers, they always want to talk about the exterior world. They always want to convey and make sure that you're getting it on the external. But when we talk about these metaphysical concepts, these spiritual concepts, most of it is identifying internal things with pinpoint accuracy, or else you don't know. And if you don't know, right, the difference between illusion and intuition, then chances are you are focused on the illusion. If you don't know the difference between glamour and illumination, chances are you're fixated and focused on glamour. I don't make the rules. I'm just conveying the material and breaking down the material. This isn't my judgment towards any person for which they want to turn off the video and say, well, how you know I'm not inspired? Because what does it feel like? What is it? What plane of existence does it exist on? Who has access to these particular dimensions? When you talk about the etheric plane, we're going to get into a deeper science, because if you have been following this train of the messages that I've been speaking on this particular channel over the past month and a half have been completely sourced from spirit. Because the thread is there. And the downloads that I'm getting are from the celestial class of beings. Because I'm able to. Because they will misidentify a person to death, won't they? Black, African American, Negro, colored, Indian, indigenous, FBA, ADOS. Ain't having a Jamaican been a Jamaican your whole life? One's in the chat if a Jamaican been a Jamaican your whole life. They ain't never not been a Jamaican. Depending on the year, niggas is dead ass calling themselves FBA now. No, you are an etheric being. You are an Ethiopian. You are people of the ethers. You are a blameless, pure person. And the reason why spirituality has to reset to one is because you niggas let clout and popularity dictate who was the most spiritual out the bunch. One's in the chat. So of course it all comes to a head and it all comes to a full head of steam because one, the rightful heirs of the throne have to step into their power in a real sense. Because you can't tell me the shit that have been happening in the past 40 days have been a righteous endeavor. What been happening within the community have been a righteous endeavor. You can't tell me that these are the rightful heirs to the throne. Or they're just old ass Nepo babies that have gone out of control. They've drunk their own milk for so long that, you know what I'm saying, they forgetting that you're supposed to get weaned off that shit. And it's really important that I deliver these messages to people to where that they can understand that this information and this access is specifically for you. So I'll give you another way that this shows up. You have a hard time with having access to affluent neighborhoods in the car of your dreams. Like you can't, you might can get you a fucking Cadillac. You might own your motherfucking house and shit. I give you that. But you know how you want to come, you can't come like that, and you might see motherfuckers and they coming like they you know brand new Bentley or some shit. You know what I'm saying, nigga going to the salon getting a slick back and shit. You know, just weird, just baller ass shit. You like, damn, that nigga living the life over there. That's real. Don't worry about that because if niggas had ever told you about your spiritual real estate, ones in the chat, all that shit is child's play to you. That's like kids playing with toys. If you understood who you are, because we talking about the physical realm. That's just one realm. There's all different types of realms and all different types of understandings, but let's break it all down from a etymology standpoint. And like I said, I'm basically going through all of these words from an etymological point of view. But if that sounds boring, I know, but it's way more interesting than I thought. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this, and this of course is going to be available on my Substack, all of this information, all of these etymologies, just like, you know, you can scroll on your phone and look at all of these information. But we'll use this table as kind of like our anchor, and we'll refer to this table a lot because it's going to keep us in order of what we're talking about and why we're talking about it. But I'm still going to deal with each of the words individually in a way that I hope that is interesting and I hope that it's enlightening. But if it's not, this is still education. So when you went to school, you can tell your teacher, why don't you make it more fun, teacher? Especially when you went to college, right? It didn't matter what your professor, usually your professor did not give a fuck about style or panache or entertaining you or making sure that you understood the information. Because it was based on you, how much you wanted to learn the information or not, or how well you wanted to do in grasping it. So, with that being said, I'm also open to questions as well. If things ain't adding up, or you want a deeper enlightenment than what I'm bringing, uh, I'm definitely open to questions and critiques. So, the first concept, right, and this is the main totem within this anchor are going to be the four aspects of glamour. And so these main four aspects of glamour, for lack of better words, are bad things. But usually they are bad things that rather not be identified by the individual. So if you think about glamour, most people would view glamour as a good thing, right? If you said this girl is glamorous, the definition of glamour is good. She living a glamorous life. But the etymology of the word is not is not good, right? And the concept of something being physically appealing in this world right now in 2025, you got to think about this shit. It's assumed that it's automatically good. Think about like online. I don't know if y'all pay attention, but it might be a girl that look good. People gonna be like going crazy, like there is no other quality besides how a person look. And like if you ever been in the real world, I don't know, if you like just a normal human being, you had to think beyond like, yeah, you might look amazing, but it gotta be other shit towards a relationship besides just physical attraction and physical beauty. But once again, you wouldn't necessarily know until you completely in a situation where you can't get out of because you just thought the grass was greener just because a person looked a certain type of way. Right. And that's just very much common sense. But once again, it gets much deeper. So the first concept or the first totem within this anchor is illusion. But from an etymological sense, what is illusion? Illusion is a mockery, a scorning, a derision, deception, deceptive appearance, apparition, delusion of the mind. And so, what would be the opposite of illusion? Intuition. And so, one of the things you got to be very key on about this particular glamour is that it does not want to be seen or known or understood. And so, the plane of existence within this illusion, because it's the deluding of the mind, is within the mental, pertaining to the mind, right? The mind, if you're not particularly 100% sure that you are aligning with truth, the chances are you're not, right? Within, and this is some real life shit. If you a young person, y'all need to keep it real with motherfuckers. Because you felt like doing some shit, but it was the wrong thing to do, that shit ain't turned out good. Because it was easy, it came to you easy. It was too good to be true. It for sure damn was too good to be true. And the shit that you really sat and worked and learned and knew in and out and stood on it and it made sense to you and you got that shit verified in front of other people, shit, that's some shit that's worth it. But when we talking about our mind is going to think, yeah, if I'm just lucky, I guess it's just going to just happen for me easy. And once again, part of this, part of this is like different paths, different levels. So illusion and intuition, if you are a spiritualist and you know for a fact that you operating from intuition, guess what? You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know that it ain't about you. But if you in a particular state of mind where you clouded by emotions, you hate a motherfucker, you in love with a motherfucker, and they ain't showing you no tangibles, you thinking this shit about to come easy. All of these particular things have to come to an end within the spiritual community. Everything gonna come out in the rinse. They have to. Because when you talk about the mind, part of this is understanding who you are. Understanding who you are without getting to the end of the story, right? You are a perfect, blameless, spiritual being, whether you know it or not. The point of glamour is to remove the fog, operate within clarity of the mind. Because when we get further into talking about glamour within itself and what it is, it specifically is fog. So what is fog? Fog is that point in time in dealing with most niggas. Yeah, hood, I'm just kind of, just like I'm here, there, everywhere, not really nowhere, but I'm there though if you need me. All I know is I got a job, I pay the bills, and I'm just making sure I'm holding my shit down. I'm being an adult, basically. But in part of this spiritual soul and understanding who I truly am, I've hit a wall, I've hit a rock, and I don't know how to move forward. Because part of this is accountability in reference into whatever you thought was going to come easy, that you wanted, that you didn't get. It, the problem is you still want it, and now you got to actually do it. So when all of these systems collapse and fall, and businesses go on bankrupt, and shit's not what it was, and banks not here, the world not going to end because motherfuckers still know how to do shit. Meaning you got to train your mind, you got to work your mind, you got to stretch your mind, you got to really understand that you can bring things into reality. But not on no foggy, sometimes I've just been so busy, I've just been so in love. I met this new nigga from out of town. Hood, they say out of town niggas is better than the niggas that's in my town. So it's not that niggas is the same all over the country. It's just the niggas in my town. So I met a nigga from a different town, and things is going to be completely different. And I feel like it's going to be completely different because we don't know each other. But sooner or later, the real versions of us is going to come up, and the reasons why we were single in the first place is going to be the make or break of our intuition. So within this, because of who you are, you always have an inner guide. So it is not something that you need to work towards. It's not something you need to build up to. You need to get stronger with. For most of you, you just need to know that it's there. Most of you don't even know that it's there. So the things in reference to activating with it and engaging with it. So once again, we're talking about the mental plane, not the emotional plane. See, the emotional plane, which is connected to the heart, is, ooh, he's so cute, I want to be with him. And you with him, and then it don't turn out the way you want it to turn out because he was so cute. You followed your emotions. Followed your emotions. You didn't. Intuition is saying, you know, this nigga want to fuck me. He only met me. He don't even know me. How he red flag? I'm not about to talk to no nigga that just want to fuck me in 10 seconds. Red flag. He want to be alone with me and want to be and just me and him. He want me to come over to his house. Red flag. If we can't meet in a public place, if we can't have regular conversation, if you don't actually want to get to know me, I'm not even gonna waste my time talking to a nigga like that. Yeah, all these niggas want to fuck, and that's how many times you done just said no. But no, this is one dude that wanted to fuck, but he actually looked good, so I just went with it. Okay, that's emotional. We're talking about intuition, which is always giving you the right answer. No, I shouldn't do this. Or yes, I'm going to do this no matter what it look like. I'm in a polygamous relationship because this is what you can when you're in a polygamous relationship, right? Every day somebody look at you and tell you you're wrong for being in a polygamous relationship, right? You ain't telling them nothing new. You know you ain't supposed to do that. You know you're supposed to not even combine. You're only supposed to have two incomes. Three incomes is kind of not fair for everybody trying to make it off two income. What I'm saying is, whatever you is into, whatever you doing, you know if it's right or wrong, and can't nobody tell you if it's right or wrong because your intuition is direct and it's mental. So when you have a mental connection, you be in some shit with somebody locked in with some shit, and the motherfucker would never even understand why y'all even why she even like him like that, because it's intuitive, it's direct, it's like there's no space in between yes or no, it's just funny. That's in every aspect of every moment, every second of your life. You have access to intuition. So any moment, and so intuition is the opposite of illusion. So if you go through any moment of your life feeling not connected to intuition, it's just an illusion. See how that works? It's just an illusion. You think you in this bit. I'm alone, and nobody like me. I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life. Motherfucker will say, I don't know what to do in my life. I'm broke. I don't know what I'm gonna do for money. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. And then the next person will say, man, I'm always in abundance. People always give me money. I don't know what's wrong with you. Motherfuckers just give me money every day. I expect to be given money. You don't think that worked? Y'all don't really think that worked? Y'all really don't think that worked, do y'all? Y'all don't really think that you could just tell yourself all day, hey man, motherfuckers about to give me some money. I feel it. you ever you ever owed somebody some money, right? And it was like time constraint, like I'll pay you on Friday, and like maybe 2 o'clock come and they call you, and you know why they calling you, and you answering, you talking to them. That feeling that you feel, that's that pressure. Like, man, where my money at? Right? You got that same mentality in the universe. Like, yo, universe, the fuck, dog. The first bills is due. I need an idea or something. I need something now. Come on. And of course, that's a mental level, but we could give you an emotional level, an etheric level, an astral level, and a physical level to double on top of all of this, right? Mentally. So once again, you're dealing with somebody and they like, man, I don't feel like I want to be in a relationship, or I don't think I'll be happy in a relationship, or whatever a person think. All right, baby, you got it. Because mentally she gotta be like, man, I'm crazy about you. I'm willing to suffer, right? You are my passion. Meaning, once again, if you on a particular level with anything, it's all different types of options at your job right now that you getting paid for. You cutting your lights on and off right now. It's 100,000 motherfuckers right now that could do your job 10 times better. You know that time you just laying there, you know what I'm saying, with your feet kicked up. Remember that checklist that they wanted you to do every night that you don't do? It's a nigga that will do that checklist with a fervor, right? You You're like, we want you to sign the checklist. Make sure you did the checklist every night, okay? And you like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't about to do that shit. What's in the chat? It's a nigga that will do that checklist. So what I'm saying is, wherever you at, you've been there through direct intuition and direct interfacing. But once again, are you connected to the illusion, or are you connected to your soul? Because that's specifically what we're talking about when we're talking about the mental. The easiest way I can describe it, right, is like your mind is either going to be connected to the world or it's going to be connected to the soul. And if your mind is connected to the world, then it's just all different type of shit that you're going to be either doing or not doing and into or not into. If your mind is connected into the soul, then you is in a particular vibration, a particular frequency, like related to love, related to bliss, related to, I would say knowledge, but not necessarily knowledge. It is just, you know what you need to know at this particular time. And you also know that you don't know what you don't need to know, and you perfectly fine with that. Very centered and very much at peace because you are connected to your soul, which you are connected to your path, your passion, which is not an easy game. You're willing to suffer for what you want, but it is your suffer, it is your path, is what you want, is what you signed up for. Everybody has their path. Everybody has their bliss. And the beautiful part about it is that you have to make it up within your mind first. It's not, and most niggas, I'm telling you right now, most niggas, they waiting for it to show up to them. To be like, oh, I love him. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love that. It happened to me. We were talking about something very specific in reference to the soul too that I forgot to add. Um, the soul is also like a magical genie. It is something that helps you get whatever you want as well. So connecting to it, and if you feel like, man, I done had a bad life, why it ain't activated for me? I'm single and I'm getting old. I'm starting to get worried. So this part, I'm gonna just open me up a separate tab so I can just go back and forth between the anchor. So the objective of dispelling illusion and getting to intuition, because once again, easier said than done. Or vice versa, once you get into this energy of dispelling. What is dispelling? And peep the word, dispelling. What does that mean? This ain't nothing that you're gonna find online. This is from source. You can't even find this etymology, even though it makes sense, right? Dispel, to remove the spell. It's not even no definition like this online, and it's right there. Of course, it mean to dispel means to get rid of the spell that is taking place on your mind. And if you don't got no spell on your mind, because once again, you got to really sit with this, because your first inclination is to say, my mind ain't on no spell. I'm always connected to my intuition hood. That's the first thing everybody gonna say. I don't shit. This ain't for me. Shit, I'm intuitive as a fuck. I'm always making the right decisions. I got 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and a dog, nigga. Fuck with me. And once again, if you are like that, this message is not for you. But if you are not like that, and you're tired of being sick and tired, and you've tried everything, you've read the books, you've read the lectures, you took the courses, you sat, and it's still, you still, that little remnant is there, or things change for you and they regress back to how it was that you don't want it to be. That is because the spell is active. You need to dispel or drive away or cause to vanish, often by scattering or eliminating something like a rumor, doubt, or fog. So think about a fog dispelling. When we get into the definition of glamour, the definition of glamour is a fog, as far as what Alice Bailey have written about it. And Alice Bailey is the source of glamour and everything that we know about it. Usage examples include dispelling fears with reassurance, dispelling a rumor with a statement, dispelling fog with a breeze. Synonyms include dissipating, scattering, banishing, and eliminating. For those that are ritualists, they will tell you that the first thing you need to do when you're doing a magical spell is to banish, right? Remove all of the thought forms, emotional forms, physical forms. You in a clean room, a clean space to get your shit off. Some of y'all be trying to do spells in a dirty room. To dispel, to drive off or away, to drive apart. So this word "pel" comes into conversation again because it was impel and compel, and now "pel." And this word "pel" means to thrust or to strike or to drive, like literally with all, like it is basically, this word basically says nothing of the old can remain. If you want to have like a specific visual of this ancient word. So you have impel, compel, dispel, right? But dispel is to like, and we're talking about the mental plane, the objective of removing the illusion is to get rid of all remnants of the past. So why am I talking about this now? It's because we're going into a 1 year, and now it's November. So y'all know I get ready for the next year at this particular time. And it's just like, for me, man, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So if you're doing what you're supposed to do, guess what? It should make sense to you. It should mean that spirit is leading you. So if spirit is leading you, guess what ain't leading you? Your common sense. It's not like I'm, rounding up hookers and putting them on the streets or nothing like that. I'm studying information and etymology. I don't feel like I'm hurting nobody with this, but I also I understand what it's about. As I'm even going through this, shit is making sense to me. As what, like, just in that last couple sentences I said, things came very clear to me. And I say this all to say, just do what you're supposed to do. And don't assume you're doing what you're supposed to do if you haven't dispelled the illusion from your mind. And don't be like, well, I don't got no illusion in my mindhood. It's my baby daddy who got the illusion in his mind. It's my baby mama. My baby mama, niggas love, hey, my baby mama need to be listening to you, hood, bro. For real. Cause this shit don't apply to me, but my baby mom, bro, delusional, bro. I'm telling you. When you started reading that shit, I'm like, man, this got everything to do with my baby mom. And I'm saying, if you created that baby mom that you don't like, you have to take mental accountability because you are a magical being. It's a reason that they tell you in all of these school books that you was a slave. Why are they going to tell you who you actually are? You don't think it's weird that you never went to a fairy school? They ain't teach you the ways of a fairy? You don't think that's weird? You don't think that is weird that the whitest shit in the world is Harry Potter? You don't think that is weird that Harry Potter is the whitest nigga ever possible? That is the whitest series possible? Whenever you start talking about magic and shifting the dynamic of this planet, they remove us from the conversation. Y'all don't think that that's weird? It's parts of your mind that you got to dispel that you don't even want to dispel because you've accepted the struggle. You have accepted defeat in the narrative that they've given you. I promise you, in every mode of sincere spiritual awakening, the truth will find you. But don't assume you know the truth. Trust that the truth will find you, but don't assume that you know the truth already. Because you went to college or you had a boyfriend that was reading these books and shit like that. And he told you shit that you didn't know, and you created a knowledge base for yourself. And now you walk around with the ego and the arrogance of knowing shit and you don't know shit. And that's irony. I'm not talking about anything specific. I'm only giving you the science of Alice Bailey. And trust me, you got to know that this is a channel because ain't no nigga in the world going to talk about Alice Bailey in 2025. Not a motherfucking soul. And so it'll be, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. You can do this work tomorrow if you begin to let go of the preconceived notions that you have for yourself. You don't think that it's ironic that you can go downtown and they can teach you how to be a motherfucking welder, but they can't teach you how to be a fucking wizard? You don't think that that's ironic? I do. So the oldest senses, and this is the word spell, because we still dealing with the concept or the objective in dealing with the illusion, is to dispel. And the oldest senses are obsolete. As an utterance, something said as a statement or a remark. The meaning, a set of supposed magical or occult powers, incantation, or charm. The term spell is generally used for magical procedures which cause harm and force people to do something against their will. So, if you do not know that a spell was put on you in more ways than one, then you are doing things that you don't want to do. Your will is your true will. Your true will is what keeps you up at night. That makes you feel like something ain't right. Like your mind's playing tricks on you. Late at night, feel I'm getting trailed by the same, you know what I'm saying? That's that old ghetto boys. But anyways, you would think that you would know if a spell was put on your mind. You would think that you would know. I'm here to tell you tonight, November 13th, 2026 years after the death of Jesus Christ, that you would have no fucking idea if your mind was put under a spell. You would have not a clue. You would be thinking that you conscious as hell. You to think that you're making all the right decisions and something is wrong with these motherfucking white people, something wrong with these black people, something wrong with these niggas, something wrong with these girls, but ain't shit wrong with me. I'm perfect. Got me a septum ring. I got me a fucking high top fade. Like, where the niggas? Not my style, but hey, for somebody like it. And to be honest, we all need to start like getting more into a particular knowledge base that's more factual, that gets results that we want to have, versus existing in a world of feeling the things that we should have, because we are a perpetual victim, or we follow in somebody's narrative or somebody's story. Put the power back into your hands. Say the reason why shit is fucked up for me is because I'm a god and I haven't fully awoken to myself. So, what is the technique to activating? What is the technique to activating illusion? It's not my words. Contemplating by with the soul. Contemplate might seem like some regular shit until you start looking up the etymology, and then you start to really look at the word, and you see two words. You'll see template. You'll also see temple. So con means together or with, and a template is just like a pre-programmed, enter in detail type of thing. It's already laid out for you. You just need to be with the program, basically, of your life. Part of this program, part of this problem, rather, is that many people do not know that God lives within them. They don't move and groove throughout life with the assumption that God is active in moving through their life. They done did some freaky shit in 1996 and they never got over it. Some shit that they can't get over. But in reference to this work, all of the shame you put on yourself, all of the grief, all of the past memories that you let run your life, you need to let that shit go. If the motherfucking shit burn the fuck up, what you gonna do? That shit is in the ethers now. That shit is the ashes. The ashes, we all fall down, nigga. It's over with. You cannot crying about that shit, feeling sad, waiting for somebody to come into your life and kiss your ass and say, it's okay, baby. It's not going to make this shit better for you. You need to contemplate. Contemplate is just not some shit where you doing and thinking, nigga. It is to be with the temple. To be one with the temple. What is the temple? You are the temple. To gaze attentively, to observe, to consider. Sitter is sidereal. Sidereal is star-like. The quiet part out loud is that you are a star being, that you are a stellar, you are they say extraterrestrial. You just a celestial terrestrial. You on Earth, but you are a star-like being. So part of this is to consider or to be one with that part of you. To mark out a space for observation. And this goes back to illusion and intuition, and to a larger point, magic. You have to create your reality from within. Like what they said in Ironheart, the reason why is because you can. And these are just regular, we're going to build up a knowledge base based upon the etymology that is undeniable. And for real, that's just why I'm so grateful. So that is, we went through for a large majority the illusionary path, and now we're going to get into glamour. Glamour exists on the astral plane. The opposite of glamour is illumination, lucidity, and vision, meaning that when you are not fully illuminated, when you are not completely lucid and clear with your vision, you are under some form of glamour or a fog. The ways to deal with glamour, the objective of glamour is to dissipate it. The battleground, or the where you deal with glamour the most, is on the path of discipleship. The technique to master meditation, the technique to master glamour is meditation, holding the mind steady and in the light, meaning that you're going to hold your mind not in the darkness, not in the fear, not in the separation. So the etymology of the word glamour is a Scottish word that means magic or enchantment. Magic, enchantment, or spell. Said to be an alteration of English grammar. So we're dealing with the mind. We're dealing with our emotions. And did you know we go straight into the motherfucking words that you were taught in school? That you had to get an A to pass grammar class? But grammar is a magic, enchantment, or a spell. Because when you go to any other country that don't speak English, they not gonna know what the fuck you talking about, and y'all not gonna understand each other. And they old ass grandma lived her whole life never knowing the shit that you had to know. Think about how crazy that y'all can't even conceptualize how crazy it is, because people have took in the spell, arms open wide. To the point now that when you read books, you better study the etymology, because you don't know what the fuck they talking about at face value, and you miss out on so much information. Grammar, in a specialized use of the word in the medieval sense of any sort of scholarship, especially occult learning. So what does grammar mean? Latin grammar, rules of Latin, and I can't make this shit up. Grammar, learning, magic, incantation spells, and mumbo jumbo. Nigga had to get straight A's in mumbo jumbo, y'all. You can't make it up. It ain't no fucking laws in the English language. Phone, Phone, that don't even make sense. If it should just be Fone, right? Mumbo jumbo, spells. One can't even shake themselves out of it because they don't even realize it for what it is. This is the language of the land. You will seem like a lower class idiot, imbecile, if you don't know this particular grammar. The plane of existence of glamour is on the astral body, pertaining to the super sensible substances. So what this particular conversation does is that it separates it from actualities. of perceiving the information. The thing about Alice Bailey is that she had all of this information, but nobody could like say for which it was or which it wasn't because they couldn't actually connect to the information. She was she was just a little old white lady in the country, just channeling this information, writing it down, creating trust. Right? It's a podcast. I can't even think of the name, but it just covers all of her writing. And it's like it's like a deep rabbit hole. But motherfuckers don't know about this shit. And the reason why people don't know about this shit is because they can't connect the dots. Right? Have y'all ever seen it's Loki, right? In the beginning, I forget the main character's name in the movie, but it was Jonathan Majors. And it was like the 1800s. And he had all of these ideas. But he had to time travel into the future to even implement his ideas because the technology didn't even exist for the inventions to come to life. So people thought he was crazy in the 1800s. But then in 2025, everything that he put together was just simple. Think about how many geniuses was able to just get their shit off because of the internet. Think about how those same geniuses wouldn't even have seen the light of day because there was no particular medium for them to get their shit off. Maybe I'm one of those particular people, but I'm just saying. When you begin to and the reason why all of this is happening is through satellites. So we're talking about a specific type of person who was able to connect to the stars and able to collect and download super sensible substances through the mode of information. The problem with niggas is that they've trapped you into sense consciousness. So, in reference to spirituality, we have been completely crossed out within the particular conversation. It's a modern and major consensus right now to this day in reference to spiritual development that niggas just think this shit is just a bunch of niggas talking shit. Done lost all complete respect. Now the term woke is like a slur. And the reason why is because we are a race of people who have just been condensed to our sensibilities, not our super sensibilities, not our astral bodies. So the astral body is a subtle energetic body believed to exist between the physical and mental bodies. This would be the emotional body. So once again, soon as most niggas think that they were slaves before they can conceptualize anything in reference to who they truly are, we have to deal with the minutia of chattel slavery. And there are books and libraries and museums to talk about how horrible it was. Because if they were to ever tell you about your astral body, that motherfucking chattel slavery would be a blip in time. But think about how they can shut down a whole race of people through narratives, through spell work, through sensibilities. And think about how vital and crucial this information is in reference to who we truly are as star beings. So you have your physical and your astral and your mental bodies. These are very much serious bodies that you need to connect to. Every year, it's like It just comes to me. It's not something that I plan. But then I'm like, damn, gotta get back into shadow work. Gotta get back into chakra work. I don't do the class, but at the beginning of the year and just knock it out. 10-week process every year. And it's like, shit, who else gonna do it? Who else care about your physical bodies and your mental bodies? And it's like, okay, thank you. I just need a little bit of motivation from source sometimes, y'all. Your astral body is considered the vehicle of the soul, composed of subtle matter, meaning that it is real. These things that I'm talking about are not make-believe, fake things. They are parts of you that are specifically hidden from you through intentional spells from your enemy. They created a calendar on your ass. Think about that shit. In 1582, they said the year is now 1582. Think about how crazy that is. Was it really 1580? Come on now. So, and activate, and these are things that we as Black people, we need to actually be able. Have you ever been to a school that is teaching you how to astral project? Have you ever been to a school that is teaching you how to do out-of-body experiences? No, they teach you about they teach you how to dissect a motherfucking frog. Nobody ever in their fucking life, being a grown-ass person, said, now, this is why I'm so happy that I dissected that motherfucking frog in high school. This is exactly why they fucking taught me this. Never. The whole shit is a joke. Because what if you knew how to remote view? What if everybody, instead of knowing basic arithmetic, knew how to astral travel? When you talk about shit like this to niggas be like, yeah, man, that shit, man, you gotta pay the motherfucking rent, nigga. Gotta pay these bills, man. I ain't got time for that shit, man. I ain't got time for that shit, man. So the opposite of glamour is illumination. Illumination is spiritual enlightenment. From the Latin illuminare, to throw into light, to make bright, to light up. Meaning that your soul is within you. God is within you. But you have to light it up. You have to activate it. You have to cut it on. This is the point of spiritual work. This is the point of meditation. This is the point of ritual, occultism. To do the work of lighting up your soul. This is another example of never walking outside and the work coming to you. You got to go to the work. You have to set the table before you eat. You have to cook the food before you eat. You don't just walk into the kitchen and the motherfucking pots just start to dance like this is fucking Beauty of the Beast or some shit like this. No, you got to do it. Well, in our hood, I pay somebody to do it. Well, the fucking chef somebody got to do it, man. I pay people to do everything that I do, man. I pay somebody to wipe my ass, hood. Fine. But they got to wipe your ass. See how the money will fuck a nigga up? You paying everybody for something, and to the point where you paying somebody to illuminate your soul. You trying to get a reading, right? You trying to get some spiritual enlightenment. So you want somebody to tell you, when this happened, you're going to be spiritually enlightened. But you ain't willing to do no work. I hope I'm talking to somebody tonight. I hope somebody get what I'm saying tonight. Because that's what truly matters. Dude, I love this video. Did you light your soul up though? Did it light a fire within you to figure out who you were? Well, shit, I already knew who I was. I'm FBAA though, shit. I could have told you that. So the objective of glamour is dissipation. The etymology of dissipation is just like the word dispel. A synonym for dispel is dissipate. Dissipation is to scatter and drive off in all directions. So when you think about fog, dissipate and fog, that's what you want it to do. So there's this particular emotional fog that exists within you, connected to your mental illusion, right? Which is connected to false beliefs. You believe the false belief and you've created all of this fog in your life and you're not clear. You don't know exactly what you want to do. That's okay, because you absolutely can. You just need to dissipate all of that fog. So Alice Bailey writes, this fog, this glamour, which envelops humanity at this time, must be realized as a definite and a substantial thing. It must be dealt with as such. What is she talking about? She is saying, if we do not talk about it, that means it runs the shit. If we act like it's not here, if we assume that it's not there, because we can't, it's, fog, right? You can't see shit. But it's not like you can see it, but you can see it. Not like you can grab it, but it's there. You know the motherfucking fog is there because you can't see. You be driving to work and you can't see downtown the same way as you usually can see that motherfucker. You like, goddamn downtown done disappeared. But I can't see it though. It's real, but I don't know it to be real. And this is how you got to think about not being clear. With all of this technology and all of these particular spells that they putting out into the atmosphere through the technology, you got to ultimately assume that shit is fucking you up by creating fog in your life. What is fog? Your inability to be clear. And if you're not clear, come on now, what is you? You just walking around this bitch? You're talking about emotional. So there is a certain level contemplating with your soul as a particular effect of feeling. Y'all walking into 2025 like, I hope I get a man, because when I get a man, I'm going to feel better about myself. With all due respect, my lady, you need to feel better about yourself without a nigga. Niggas is walking out here, loneliness epidemic. They ain't never even seen lips before. Can't even get a whiff of no pussy. Talking about if she would just like me, I would feel better about myself. Listen, sir, you got to start feeling better about yourself before she come into your life. Because it's going to be some shit that you're going to see within that relationship that's going to make it hard for you to smile. Trust me when I tell you, it's some shit about her that's going to drive you up a motherfucking wall. And if you don't have the inner fortitude of happiness, you gonna ruin a fucking family. You gonna ruin yourself because you thought that this person was going to make you happy. Think about how crazy, and this is 2025 going into 2026. Motherfuckers is dead ass assuming that something on the external is going to make them happy. So the reason why it makes so much sense to me, why we have to talk about it, because we assume that if we don't talk about it, yeah, hood, that might apply to you, but not to me. Once I found my nigga, that nigga make me happy every day, hood. He do everything that I want him to do. We in a shelter right now, but he still love me. He do whatever I say do. We homeless living out our car, but he is the most thoughtful man I ever felt for in my life. The disciple or aspirant who is seeking to dispel glamour either in his own life or as a service rendered to the world must because that's another thing. Don't tell me how clear your ass been and your ass ain't never called me and gave me no words or no motherfucking encouragement. In my darkest times, nigga. Damn, hood. I've been so clear and so tapped in ever since your reading. Nigga, help me out. I helped you. Dude, that motherfucking video helped me out so much. Nigga, I'm struggling. I don't think we gotta have a motherfucking exchange going on in this bitch for real, for real. In his own life or as a service rendered to the world must recognize he is working with substance and breaking up the forms which it has assumed. So that defeat that you felt in your life, it was so real to you before you was watching this video. It ain't as real as I hope it ain't as real as it was before you start watching this video. That grief that you felt about your mama, I hope that grief ain't as severe as it was. Cause ain't no nigga on the internet gonna tell you dispel that shit. They gonna tell you to keep that and hold on to it and walk around in this bitch with a fog. Just be sad, nigga. It's okay. We all sad. We cry together, looking ass boys. Dispel glamour, dispel the fog, be so clear. But that fog is all of the anger, all of the shame, all of the guilt. You got a train ran on you in high school. Whoop de doo. Tell your wife about it. Some of y'all got some dark shit though. Some of that shit y'all gonna have to take with you to the grave. Gonna have to journal it, put it in a time capsule. One in the chat. Some of that shit y'all gonna have to take it with y'all to the grave. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. Honey, it's something that I want to tell you. No, journal it and burn it. Okay, you can do that too. You can do that too. Okay. So we read in Alice Bailey, Glamour, A World Problem. She goes on to say, the disciple or a spirit who is seeking to dispel glamour, either in his own life or as a service rendered to the world, must recognize that he is working with substance, with the breaking up the forms which it has assumed. And with that dissipation of that material, all enveloped substance material in the same sense as thought forms are substantial things. But here is a point of importance of a less substantial nature than the forms of glamour found upon the astral plane. So we are quite willing to remember that thoughts are things and that they have a form life and a purpose of their own. But they have a more unique and separative existence and more clearly defined and more definite outlines. The forms of glamour on the astral plane are even more substantial, but are less clearly defined. So thought forms are dynamic, penetrating, clear, and outlined. Glamours are smothering, vague, and enveloping. In them, a person is immersed as in the ocean or in the sea of fog. With thought forms, he is confronted or faced, but not immersed. It might also be said that the astral body of a person comes into being as part of the general world of glamour. It is difficult for him to differentiate between his own astral body and the glamours which affect and submerge him. His problem upon the mental plane is clearly defined. So to summarize, a thought form and a glamour exist in the same dimension, but a thought form is much more clear. A glamour is not clear at all. It's vague. It don't really lead nowhere, and it don't make you feel nothing, right? It is the promise of completion that make you feel something. So think about how persuasive it is to get a degree, right? And you say, man, I'm gonna go to school for this degree, and when I get this degree, I'm gonna feel completed or whatever. But it's just a degree. I mean, you might can get a job, you might can't get a job. You might love what you do, but the company you work for is a bullshit company. And it's not like you hate doing what you're doing. You just hate the industry associated with what you're doing because you didn't know that the industry is filled with cutthroats. Think about this. Think about a college campus. Have you ever been to a college campus with 100,000 students? They all over the country. Every year, it's thousands of motherfuckers flooding the workforce, and them same people is not leaving the workforce, guys. The way that they coming is not the way that they leaving, right? Motherfucker got a nice house on the hill. They gotta keep working to get that motherfucking mortgage paid and the fucking property taxes paid. So that flood of people coming out trying to get that job, shit, they might not get that job, y'all. I'm sorry to tell you. But they worked 4 years, night and day, to get this degree. Because they assumed that once they get this degree, they was going to feel a certain way. Think about how many lives is ruined behind that lie. I'm talking about millions of people assume that if they go to college, they will live a better life. And in some aspects, they may actually do live a better life. In some aspects, it did nothing. And most of the times, you wasted a lot of money and you wasted a lot of time because you ain't even working in that particular field. And the reason that they did it was because of a glamour. And do I have a better solution? Not necessarily, because I know shit, motherfuckers gotta pay bills. But me personally, shit, is other things that can sustain you to a greater level versus being an employee. You just need to take the time to learn it. And if you're going to ever learn it, learn that shit young. Learn how money works. Learn how to build an economy. Learn how to build a community. Learn how to build a network. Work with people. Help people. Grow with people. Invest in people. Because you cannot do this shit yourself. For years, I've woken up with a specific purpose to pour into people, to help people. And it pays me back every single day. I wake up, somebody is helping me out every day. And it didn't come out of nowhere. Motherfucker be like, man, I ain't like your last video. Yeah, I understand, but it ain't about one video or no videos. It's about a consistency of helping people. That shit, the time that I was wasting going to college and trying to learn something, I could have been building in real life and learning in real life how things work. Because when it comes down to putting pen to paper, they ain't gonna stop and say, wait, you got your degree first? Or we give you the keys to this business. You got your degree first? No. Do you have the information? Do you have the money? Do you have the expertise? All right, let's go. So, yeah, the path of glamour, the battleground, is under the path of discipleship. And discipleship could be connected to Jesus, like they love to say, but looking deeper into the word, it is to truly grasp and to analyze thoroughly. And from a metaphysical point of view, what are you really grasping and intellectualizing? It's your big head, goofy ass. You about to really have to look at yourself and follow yourself, right? If you're going to be a disciple to Jesus, you're going to be a disciple to your own mind. Your mind is Christ, Christ consciousness. And your ego has to subdue itself and follow it and grasp it intellectually. And how do you learn from yourself? What is the technique? The technique is meditation. What is a nigga's favorite phrase? Ugh. I heard what you said in your last video. I love what you said in it, man. It's just that goddamn meditation, dude. I cannot meditate to save my life, man. Me and my old lady tried to meditate, man. We just ended up getting freaky hood. I ain't gonna lie. I called it sex magic because, we had sex and it was magic. Anyways, man, I cannot meditate to save my life. Why can't you meditate? You can't meditate because of glamour. You can't meditate because the enemy wants you not to light, this little light of yours. It don't want it to shine. You don't want to be clear. You don't want to have the vision. You want to have the fog. You want to go this way, that way, not really be too sure. Not really, think about all of the religious movements in the history of life. And they think about a choir. Think about the Holy Ghost. And they worshiping God. And it's not to say that they worshiping you, but since God lives in each of us, the same motivating force to have a church band lead a whole congregation into a Holy Ghost for this mystical God force in the universe somewhere. Have people screaming and hollering, hooting and hollering every Sunday, playing the organ. This energy is within yourself, and you waking up every single day not knowing who you are. Because in reference to knowing who you are, you ain't gonna wake up and walk outside and the motherfucker be like, oh Lord Ptah, you have risen from the grave. I'm your follower from 1,000 years. I'm here to worship and follow after you. I'm your first and true disciple. We have found each other finally. Oh, no, nigga. Not gonna work like that. You have to meditate, or else, and the reason why you don't meditate, listen, Glamour, the internet, your phone, when you wake up first thing in the morning, what you do? No form of connection. So moving on to Maya. And so I'm referring to Alice Bailey and talking about Maya for there isn't a real good definition online for this particular concept. And yeah, so we're referring to Alice Bailey, Glamour, a world's problem. And I'll give y'all the exact year. 1950. Here we come definitely into the realm of material substance. This is essentially, and in a peculiar manner, the realm of force. So the reason why you African, black, ADOS, a descendant of a slave master, FBA, all of these particular terms is because you are an etheric being and you have, Darth Vader. The force is within you, right? That primal spiritual force, you know. And the thing of it, some of us can naturally do it, not most. This is something that needs to be taught and learned and developed and nurtured and cultivated. Like nobody wakes up and knows how to build 5-story condominiums. You got to be taught and learn and cultured and nurtured into the science. So just thinking that you're going to master Maya because I'm telling you that you're an etheric being is why it's so many false teachers out there in the world. There is no easy way, and there is no way that I can teach you because you have to already know it for one and be committed to do it for two. That's why I offer this information for free and trust and donation because the people that take the information and use the information, of course, of course, I expect you to donate. It's like if I have eggs on the farm, them pumpkin patches in the rural place you drive by. One's in the chat. You ever seen a pumpkin patch? Ain't nobody ever there. It's just pumpkins and prices. And when you walk up to it, it's a damn mailbox. Might be filled with money. You supposed to take your $10 out your pocket, put that $10 in the mailbox, and take your pumpkin and go about your motherfucking business. Like in certain places, at least it's like that in Ohio and Michigan, the places that I lived, in the rural places, they exist in a world where there ain't no crime. Ain't nobody stealing nothing. And these is my motherfucking pumpkins. So you about to pay me for them. But I don't got to be there to watch you pay me. I don't got to put the video behind a paywall or no shit like that. I already know. All you got to do is what you're supposed to do, and you're going to be rewarded. It's going to come back to you. I'm just letting you know this because you might not know it. You might not know. You have access to the force. Maya is predominantly for the individual. Okay? So any group, any collective of people saying this group is how we get shit done is usually just one nigga doing a whole bunch of spell work. A way that I can, Agatha knows it all, right? Or Agatha does it all. One of them titles is on Disney Plus. Right? Agatha didn't know no magic, but she was made it look like she was the head witch. And so all of the witches that had talent, they would go to Agatha so she could teach them. But she was just stealing their motherfucking energy. That's how all of these niggas that exist within the spiritual community that put niggas behind massive paywalls and spiritual groups, they not teach you about the force. The force is within you. And if you don't want it, you're not going to get it. If I got to sit over top of you and make you meditate every day, nigga, you might as well just forget it. You don't want it. If a nigga got to tell a nigga every morning, hey, man, come out here and shoot basketball. This nigga say, I want to make it to the league. And you ain't out there shooting hoops, nigga. You don't want to make it to the league. Why you ain't told me I needed to play basketball? Because, nigga, you wasn't within you. Your soul wasn't telling you. If your soul was telling you to play basketball, you should have been up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Talking to the security guard, hey, man, I need you to unlock these doors for me. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get some hoops before school. Your ass playing Roblox or some weird shit. just thinking that the NBA is gonna come to you. Motherfucking NBA gonna be like, man, this nigga look good. I mean, he can't play worth for shit, but he's sexy as hell. We drafted number 1 off of pure looks. Don't work like that. You gotta want this shit. And when we talk all of the shit that we've been talking, if you don't want it personally, you gonna be like, man, I ain't even get into that video, man. I ain't get it. And I understand most people don't get it. They want a dick ride. Hey, yeah, I joined this course. They was teaching us about this and that and the third. I don't give a fuck. Shit ain't real. Old shit, man. It's about to be 2026, man. If you don't got the shit within yourself, you went to a course to learn how to pump blood through your heart, nigga, no. Get off of it. Is learning spiritual information bad? No. But like within this paradigm of knowledge, since only motherfuckers that want to get it gonna get it anyway, and when they get it, they gonna repay you anyways. You don't gotta sit behind no massive paywall. Motherfuckers is going to niggas survive off of spiritual work, off of donations, nigga. A church, I don't gotta force the nigga. The reverend don't force niggas to give tithings, nigga. Might look like that, but I'm telling you, if you don't want to get him shit, you don't got to. You want to do it, it's within you. People like, why are you tithing? I would never tithe. Shit. If you don't want to tithe, nigga, don't tithe. Because you wasn't going to do the work any motherfucking way. You was wasting time for the 2 hours any fucking way. You wasn't going to meditate. You don't believe yourself to be an Ethiopian. You think you an Ados or some shit. You a descendant of a slave master. You pick cotton and you proud of picking cotton. You call yourself a fucking minority. Of course you're not going to donate. You don't even know who the fuck you are. Because niggas is going to charge you to tell you who you are. It ain't going to never make sense to me. I'm going to charge you for the air that you breathing out of the earth. That's what that sounds like. Maya is predominantly for the individual. It is the aggregate of the forces which control the septenary forces centered in the exclusion. I would emphasize of the controlling energy of the soul. Therefore, you will see the bulk of humanity until a man stands upon the probationary path are under the control of Maya. That's why I was grateful to Alice Bailey. Because I know I'm the only nigga in the world, on the planet, talking about this shit tonight. Ain't nobody else talking about this shit right here. That's how I know that this is trouble. I don't even care. You don't have to get it. But I have to understand it, and then it's like, okay, since you're willing to understand it, everybody is under the control of Maya, and I can see it. For a man succumbs to Maya when he is controlled by any other force or forces than the energies which come direct from the soul. Conditioning and controlling the lesser forces of the personality as they will eventually and inevitably must and will. When a man is under the control of physical, astral, and mental forces, he is convinced at the time that they are for him right forces. I'm going to say this again. When a man is under the control of physical, astral, and mental forces, he is convinced at the time that they are for him right forces. Herein lies the problem of Maya. Such forces, however, when they control a man, determine him in a separative attitude and produce an effect which feeds and stimulates the personality and does not bring in the energy of the soul, the true individuality. This analysis should prove illuminating to you if men and women bring their lives under a closer scrutiny by the true inner or spiritual man, which can thus determine what combination of energies conditions their life activity. They would not continue to function as they do now, so blindly, so inadequately, and so ineffectually. If you knew how much power you've had, you would change your life damn near overnight. You would never worry about being broke or not having money or supporting your kids or getting evicted or living in squalor, living in deplorable conditions. You would never, if you knew how much power you had. And I'm not talking to nobody when I say that. I can talk to myself and say that. Okay? That's how real I am with this shit. Because once again, the mode of activating yourself is an individual pursuit. And if I would stand in front of y'all and say, I don't need to activate myself, I got all my shit together, this download, a lot of times should be for me. A lot of times. If don't nobody get it, I fucking get it. And I'm okay with that. Because when you on the forefront of information, when you talking about shit on a Monday night, where a majority of black men is watching a fucking other grown ass niggas in tights throw a fucking ball around, pause, get tackled and be all hugged up on one another, giving each other concussions, most black men is in that realm. I'm perfectly fine where I'm at. I know sugar from shit. I know right from wrong. So the plane of existence of Maya exists on the etheric plane. The etheric plane deserves a quick rabbit hole diving into. So etheric is pertaining to ether. Ether is the upper regions of space. This is who you are. And this is why I don't care. Everybody will sit here from the dawn of time and tell you America is Egypt, black people are already here. All that shit is not, it don't even fucking matter. Even if it's true. It could be true. But them talking about it, they're never going to tell you the shit that's real or that matters. Never in a million years. Why? Because the truth is right in front of them. The etheric plane is ruled by ether. Now, what is ether? Ether is the upper regions of space, the upper pure bright air, the sky, the firmament, the upper air, the bright pure air, the sky. From a Proto-Indian word called Athen. This is key, which means to burn or to shine. In ancient cosmology, the element that filled all space beyond the sphere of the moon, constituting the substance of the stars and planets, is seen of as a pure form of fire or air or as a fifth element. It was a scientific word for an assumed frame of reference, right? So when you think of black people in America, historically, cosmologically, we are the frame of reference. This is why it's funny to everybody in the country of what they can call us and what we can be and what we can do. And I'm telling you, when niggas get their motherfucking head from under the sand, when they pull their head from out of their ass and understand who they truly are. Because what it is now is that we collectively trying to be something. But we can't collectively be shit because motherfuckers is dumb as hell. And that's fine. Because this was an individual process the whole time. Does that mean that you don't help people and show up for people? No. That means that you understand that you take full responsibility for the reality because you are a God. You are a sleeping God and you are waking up. You are the frame of reference for all of the forces in the universe without material properties. What is this describing? It is describing the soul, the people of the soul, the Ethiopians, the Ethiopians. The other near the setting of the sun, and one near the rising of the sun. Both have embrowned visages, meaning they have dark skin. From their proximity to the luminary, meaning their closeness to the sun, closeness to the celestial informational highway. And because you have this information that comes within you, you are dictated to live and lead a blissful existence. And I know for a lot of people in this particular moment, that seems fucking hard to believe. That's the purpose of this work. That's the purpose of this information, because you need to know that you have the power to fuck up your life and you have the power to heal and build your life. But if you do not do the work, just because we doing it don't mean it's going to work out for you. You got to sit on your ass. Yes, you do. You got to clear your mind. You got to dissipate the fog. You got to get over the fear. You got to get over that doubt. The work is actually believing in yourself. And seeing yourself at a soul-like level, because living amid a flood of light as a natural concomitant of a blissful existence, blameless and pure and free from every kind of moral defilement. This is who you are. You are an Ethiopian. Ethiop, from the Latin Ethiops, Ethiopian, or Negro. An Ethiop is a Negro. Ethiopia, Ethiops, of Abyssinia, all of these particular places don't represent the country that was probably created in the 1940s or something like that. So etheric, pertaining to ether, is the plane of existence of Maya. And Maya just means force of the material world, or able to work with Maya, create with Maya. Because what are we working with? We're working with glamour. What is glamour? Glamour is magic. Right? You are a magical people. You've been so concerned. You've been so concerned with the matrix that you done forgot your goddamn magic. Was in the chat. You've been so concerned with the damn matrix that you done forgot your magic. So what is the opposite of Maya? So once again, working with the opposite of Maya. The opposite of Maya is inspiration. What is inspiration? The immediate influence of God. The immediate influence of God means that nobody has to tell you. Nobody has to show you. You have to begin to develop a relationship or communication with this particular influence. Inspiration, inhaling, breathing in, which could be a deeper metaphor that the information in your conversation with God is through breath work, meditation, to blow into, to breathe upon, to inspire, to excite, to inflame. So the more breathing and meditation, what is the purpose for this? To activate your spirit. Why? Because in spirit is just simply to breathe. I don't got nothing to be grateful for, hood. Are you breathing? Yeah. Well, then you got a whole lot of shit to be grateful for. A lot of motherfuckers out here not even breathing. What is the object in working with or getting rid of Maya? Devitalization. What is devitalization? In the spiritual sense, it refers to the weakening or draining of a person's spiritual energy, faith, or passion, often caused by external forces or internal struggles like doubt, apathy, or a focus on mundane concerns. What did I say? You've been too focused on the damn matrix, and you have not gotten into your magic. And now you walk around this bitch confused in a fog. The days is blending into the days, y'all. Come on. Wake the fuck up. Let's get into it. Get into it. Get into the passion of who you truly are. Get into the feeling. Get into the movement. If it's telling you to get up and dance, then get up and dance. Stop ignoring yourself and imagining that you're gonna go to this job with these weird ass motherfuckers and they gonna stop being weird one day. They're not. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen at that job. One day these motherfuckers is going to backstab you. They're gonna call you in the HR. They're gonna fire your ass. You better start preparing for it now. Start thinking about what you're going to do after this job that you're going to that you hate with these weird ass rules, and it's all on vibes now. The jobs they full on vibes. You could be the best worker in the whole entire place, but if these, guess what? These motherfuckers don't like you. What you going to do about them not liking you? You concern yourself with this shit every day. They cutting their eyes at you. They treating you different. They doing the shit that you don't want them to do every fucking day. I said that I don't want no fucking dairy milk in my fucking coffee. Oh damn, I forgot. Oh, you're the vegan, huh? They passing out lunch every day. It's a joke. What we having for lunch? We only got beef stew. Sorry, I forgot you were a vegan. I'm gonna think about it next time. They don't like you. Who gives a fuck though? You're a god. You just don't do no magic. You don't believe in the mode of magic. So you go to a situation every day. They give you money, nigga. They're giving you money so they can drain you. Give you money so they can drain you, guy. Okay? Hey, listen. I'd have been there, done that, bought the tickets, went back. Last year, I got me a motherfucking job. Got me a job. I, I'm I love the motherfucking job because that's just my spirit. I just be in love with what I'm doing. You feel me? You motherfuckers gonna go around and say I stole $1,500. I said I wish I stole $1,500. I would have spent that shit. If I'd have stole $1,500, I would have spent that shit. How I'ma steal some shit that I didn't even spend, I didn't even got? That don't even make sense to me. Y'all got a specific amount of money that y'all know I stole. Oh, see, this is some crazy. This got to. I was like, man, this shit fucked me up. I ain't even gonna lie, this shit fucked me up mentally, But I gotta laugh at it now because goddamn, I tried. I tried working with these motherfuckers. I said never the fuck again. I'm not putting my shit on the back burner for nobody ever, never again. Trying to work with fuck that. These niggas don't like you. And I'm gonna tell you why they don't like you, because you such a motherfucking class act. You fucking go there, do what you're supposed to do. They hate that. They want to smoke crack in the bathroom. They want to go in the fucking bathroom and smoke meth. They can't because here come your ass Go look at them weird. They pull out the goddamn fucking crack pipe. You like, what the fuck up with this? This nigga, man. Can't even be they self around you. You think it's something that have to do with you. It don't got shit to do with you. The point of this shit right here is figuring out what you are really supposed to do. And the whole level of fog and the whole level of all of this shit being pushed down on you, you bringing it on yourself because you're not doing magic. And you have these focus on mundane concerns. And you cannot believe that motherfuckers don't like you and don't fuck with you. Because you don't understand how much power you have. I'm going to tell you one other thing in reference to extra dimensional entities and energies. You don't think that is motherfuckers out here with tentacles? You don't see the tentacles. I'm not crazy. You don't see it with your two eyes. But if it was some spiritual seekers back in the day, they will point out motherfuckers. Think about it's a person in your life and you find yourself always want to argue, always in some type of beef. 10 times out of 10, they got tentacles, and that negative emotion, they use it to feed off of you. A spiritual crisis, sometimes referred to as faith deconstruction, can involve a temporary state of devitalization as an individual questions and reevaluates their core beliefs. I take a minute and reevaluate. So the battleground for Maya is for those that are on the path of probation. What is probation? Probation is trial and error, experimenting, testing, fuck around and finding out. In order to figure out if you are really that guy or that girl, based upon you being a witch, warlock, or a wizard, guess what? How am I know if I can make brownies if I'm not in the kitchen cooking? Right? You have to be the one that is going to be on this particular path, right? In order to know that you have the power magically, you have to test yourself, right? That is the path of probation. It is like, if I give you a job, I'm gonna just see if the probationary period is like, you got the job, but we just gonna have to see how well you are at the job. So I can't know if you're gonna be good at the job if I don't give you the job first, right? So probation is approval. So think about your life. Think about what you truly want and you truly desire. You already got it, right? You ever heard that before, right? Thoughts are things, or, as a man thinketh, or however you, as above, so below, whatever the case may be, right? You already have it. It's like you've been approved. You got the job. This is your probationary period. What are you going to do now that you got the job, right? It's approving, a trial, an inspection, an examination. Another concept of this battleground is putrefaction. So putrefaction is an alchemical term, which is the process of decomposition of organic matter. So in metaphysical alchemy, putrefaction is a stage of decomposition and breakdown, symbolizing the death of the old self, false belief, and ego structures. This difficult blackening phase, also called the negredo, is a necessary and essential precursor to rebirth. So a lot of these alchemical terms is like people study them and they don't get it. And the reason why they're not as popular as, say, let's just say Christianity or something like that, is because This alchemical shit is talking about your ass, right? The blackening phase is a phase that's been going through a whole race of people. We have literally been blackened. We've literally, all of the knowledge of who we truly are was stripped away from us. Think about that. Nobody else really, I mean, I'm sure there's other people on the planet, but to a certain degree, right? Where we know that we don't know who we truly are. And we are relying on these people to tell us, oh yeah, y'all was came here from Africa on slave ships. Then we all came here and we made y'all just pick cotton. We fucked your girls. We killed the guys. We treated y'all like property. Yeah, y'all really wasn't shit for real. Ha 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 ha. Y'all are slaves. Ha 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 ha. Right? That is a particular alchemical process of the decomposition and breakdown, symbolizing the death of the old self, false belief, and ego structures. So within this particular process, you don't get rid of who you truly are. You get rid of all of the things that we must have been held on this motherfucking planet. Imagine us with superpowers. Imagine niggas with superpowers. Just think Sexy Red with magical abilities. I know we was on some bullshit. We was having twerk offs. You know what I'm saying? 24-hour twerk off. You know, God, they're like, look, let's start this over, right? Who got the best quick weave? Like it was out of control. So it's like, you know, let's I'm talking about worldwide ghetto shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start this thing over, right? Listen, this is the blackening phase, but it's also called the Negrito. And only white people study this shit. So they like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I truly don't understand. Like I take it very symbolically. It's like very like you know, it's an intense understanding, but it's like I can't fully integrate with it, you know, putrefaction, the blackening phase. Nigga, Negrito, nigga, the blackening phase and the Negrito. We are the people of alchemy. They took the Christ consciousness. This is my theory. Christ returned, ruled for 1,000 years. But it was also agreed that there was going to be a little season where Satan was going to rule for 250 years. And in this 250 years, he have taken Christ's saints and stripped them of all of their power, all of their everything that they truly were, and made them to think that they were black or niggers, and gave them no tie to no history. And the truth of the matter is, we can't even get a succinct, clear understanding and conversation because the whole world is against us knowing who we truly are. And I'm not saying that we not Moors. I'm not saying that we not Hebrews. I'm not saying that we not indigenous. I'm not saying that. But we all these different type of shits. While the Mexican, just the Mexican, the Chinese person, just the Chinese person. They just staying what they are. We all over the place, and who we truly are. We trying to recover something that we can't recover because this is an alchemical process that we've started within ourselves. Why? Because we know, right, that in order to get this shit popping, it's required at an individual level. So think about the tree. The tree gets rid of all of its leaves and forgets everything that it was. And then it just sprouts back like it never happened. So we have reached a point. We have reached a point within our existence where we are prepping for a rebirth. We are prepping for a new consciousness. Because nobody knows what and who we truly are. And what I learned in therapy today was that in order to heal, you can't focus on the past. If you're truly ready for healing, you must focus on what's ahead. And what I've known about the past is that everything that we once were, we can't carry it into the future because we don't know what it was. So this death being symbolic, putrefaction represents the death of your old identity, including outmoded beliefs, ego structures, and inauthentic ways of being. So the technique to working through Maya is occultism. So these techniques, contemplating with by and with the soul, meditation, lead straight into occultism. So these techniques go hand in hand. They build on to one another. So your meditation, you don't just sit and meditate forever. It should eventually lead you into occultism. But what is occult? Occult is the secret, not divulged. So how do we explain this? You live in your life right now with secrets. Secrets you know that you holding, and secrets you don't even know that you holding. You could tell your boyfriend right now all of your secrets and break his heart, but why would you even do that? You got to start journaling, right? You need to start getting real with yourself and stop living holding on to secrets. And another aspect of occultism is the hidden, concealed, or secret. So that's another layer to the secret is your soul. Occult in the secret to all existence is that of the soul. Niggas is willing to talk about everything within the world, but when we talk about the soul, it's like, I don't know, I can't see it, so I don't think it's real. Well, that makes it a secret, that makes it hidden, that makes it concealed. But that does not mean that it's not there because it is hidden, concealed, or secret. Part of it means that it's not apprehended by the mind. It's beyond the range of understanding. We're dealing with the association with supernatural sciences like magic, alchemy, astrology. And now I hope that these particular concepts make a little bit more sense in how you begin to utilize them, because you have a soul and you have to create your life through magic. Alchemy is letting you know what point in time you are within reality. They literally call us black people. They literally call us niggas, nigger, negro, the blackening phase. So all of this spiritual information that people have been talking about, the reason why I don't really hit and settle is because it's not talking about them. It's talking about us. But we don't get it because we so caught up in the matrix. We trying to pay our fucking bills and we believe everything that we're told about. You're a black person. You don't matter. You're a slave. You're poor. You got a baby daddy. You you leave your family. You're poor. You're a slave. We believe this shit about ourselves. We see shit on the news, man. These niggas need to get it together. And if they keep telling you this shit on the news every single day, what is that? Repetition. That's a spell. It's not real. So, but that still doesn't get us into the technique. The technique is occultism, which is the doctrine, principles, or practices of occult sciences. What is occult sciences? It is the science of the secret. So what responsibility that you have? What is your doctrine? What is your principles? What is your rituals? Occultism is the study or the pursuit of hidden knowledge, often through practices like alchemy, astrology, magic, with the goal of spiritual insight or personal power, or dealing with the force, or changing your reality for the better. I hope this government shutdown taught you that don't nobody give a fuck about you. Nobody is saving you. Nobody is speaking on your behalf. And if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't put the power into your own hands, you might live a life that's fucked up out here because these people is ruthless. The term originates from the Latin word for hidden and encompasses a wide range of esoteric traditions. So, occultism is how you master or manipulate the force. What is the force? Maya. Maya is connected to the illusion or glamour. These are aspects that put us under a form of spell until we realize it, and then we get back into our rebirth, back into our power. So the last line we're going to deal with is dweller on the threshold. The dweller on the threshold is an esoteric concept originating from Bulwer Lytton's novel Zanoni that represents a formidable obstacle encountered on a spiritual path. So, as I was stating earlier, in reference to shadow work and chakra work, in the classes that I usually teach at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, well, the ending moving into the beginning, a lot of this is just shadow work. And every year I get into a deeper understanding of what shadow work actually is. And so what I've come to realize is that the dweller of the threshold is the shadow, is the part of you. It is a malevolent or testing entity, often called a guardian of the threshold, that embodies the sum of one's accumulated darkness or unresolved issues from past lives. Facing and overcoming this dweller is a crucial test required to progress on the path of spiritual enlightenment or higher worlds of knowledge. So Alice Bailey writes about, because once again, you're not going to find a lot of information about the dweller on the threshold online, but she writes extensively in her book Glamour, A World's Problem. Alice Bailey, written in 1950. We will now touch very briefly upon the problem of the dweller on the threshold. The dweller is often regarded as a disaster or as a horror to be avoided and as a final culminating evil. I will remind you, nevertheless, that the dweller is one who stands before the gate of God, who dwells in the shadow of the portal of initiation, and who faces the angel of presence open-eyed, as ancient scripture calls it. The dweller can be defined as the sum total of forces of the lower nature as expressed in the personality prior to illumination, prior to inspiration, prior to initiation. The personality at this stage is exceedingly potent. So before you activate yourself, who you think you are is very potent. Even though that is not who you are, even though that's not what you're supposed to be doing, it still rules. So, in reference to all of the things that we talked about, yeah, but that shit don't apply to me. Because I got my shit together. I got a Benz. I got 2.5 kids, a white dog, and a white picket fence, and a white house. I live in the suburbs. Ain't really shit you could tell me. And when you put it like that, your personality at this stage is exceedingly potent. And the dweller embodies all the psychic and mental forces which down the ages have been unfolded in a man and nurtured with care. It can be looked upon as the potency of the threefold material form, And prior to its consecration and dedication to the life of the soul and to the service of the hierarchy and God and humanity, the dweller on the threshold is all that a man is, apart from the higher spiritual self. It is the third aspect of divinity as expressed in the human mechanism, and the third aspect must eventually be subordinated to the second aspect, the soul. So, what this is saying, as great as you might think the human life may be, it'll eventually die, and the soul will come to fruition eventually, no matter what you do on this plane. So the purpose of all of the work is to get to the soul before death, and to contemplate and to build and to understand and to be along a perfect path specifically for you. This is the power of following your soul. However, there is two great contrasting forces. The angel and the dweller are brought together face to face, and the final conflict takes place. Again, you will note that is the meeting and the battle between another and a higher pair of opposite. The aspirant has therefore three pairs of opposites with which to deal as he progresses towards light and liberation. So, what she is laying out is not a perfect plan. And if you do perfect things, it'll perfectly work out for you. What she is saying is no matter where you're at in your spiritual development, you're going to have to deal with the opposition within yourself and understand where you're at within these particular places, because the issue with all of this is many people don't, for one, see it to exist in the first place, and then for two, if it does exist, it doesn't exist for them, because we just special spiritual people. On the physical plane, the dense and the etheric are fought out upon the path of purification. So, in order for you to get to a space where the etheric is the normal way of being, which is blameless, pure, all knowing, all knowledgeable, child of the Most High, right? You have to purify the physical. And it doesn't mean having a bunch of clutter, having a bunch of material objects, shit that don't matter, knickknacks, paddywhacks, giving dogs a bone, none of that shit. The path of purification on the physical plane, as a santero, as a santera, is purified spaces, clean and clear spaces. And you're going to have to fight against that through chaos and entropy. On the astral plane, the well-known dualities are fought upon the path of discipleship. So sadness, happiness, light, dark. These are well-known dualities that if you lack worth, self-worth, like all of these particular things that are playing out on the astral plane, these are the things that you have to begin to work through. So another level of this is that when these particular concepts are brought up and are placed forth between the individual, the expectation is for them not to read it and understand it, because it's not for them. The expectation is for you to read it and understand it, right? On the mental plane, the angel and the dweller are fought upon the path of initiation. So the angel and the dweller are essentially the same thing. They are face to face. They only see one another. They don't see you. So they exist in a world where it's your life, and they have all of this power to create a vision, an action plan, a manifestation instantly, but y'all are not seeing each other. Y'all are existing not eye to eye and face to face, because within the individual, there is a lot of shame, a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, a lot of weight associated with your old self. That is your lower nature. That is your shadow. And this is what runs and rules your life. The spiritual path eventually is going to lead you to confront that part of you. You will have to sit with yourself and say, damn, I have been caught up in this job. I have been caught up in this relationship. I have been caught up in this situation with my kids or my family or with my mom, or I've been caught up in something externally because of my guilt, my shame, of my loyalty. And I'm feeling like this situation have full control over me and what I need to do, and I'm not being able to take my power back. And it's hard for you to take your power back if you don't understand these metaphysical concepts. So the ending of this particular video is not, long and drawn out, because the whole entire video was like supposed to give you what you was looking for. That it's more of like a CD. This particular, it's like different tracks. So the larger point of this particular build is to get you, to help you in multiple areas, in multiple forms. And the way that glamour shows up is a confusing aspect for an individual. The point is to get rid of glamour so you are no longer confused and you are clear. And in these days and times, you need that more than ever, because the anti-spiritualists that are spiritualists are doing a good job on holding people down. And it's not for us to go and fight these entities and these energies. It is for us to confront who we are and activate. Before you meet your higher self, you must face everything in you that resists it. So if you cannot see your higher self right now with true clarity, with true vigor, like you don't want to get up and run and scream from the rooftops that you know who you are. If you're not excited to be who you are, your lineage, your ancestors, your guides that just are just so much in your corner, you cannot see it clearly. You have to figure out what is in the way, right? You must clear the fog. You must be so clear with who you are spiritually. And you can't blame Donald Trump for you not being in tune with yourself. Meaning that you have to be so accountable for who you truly are and take full control of who you truly are. Because this shit is so crazy. Motherfuckers care about TikTok and the news and the algorithm more than who they truly are in this day and time. And I hope that y'all not falling for the, banana in your tailpipe, and you willing to do the inner work. You willing to do the sign. You willing to, figure out who you are. And, I've been really sitting with myself, going through a lot of things and shit like that. But of course, I'm like sitting back, might microdose, couple capsules, and, things just start piece together things. You know what I'm saying? Just putting together. And what Spirit have shown me over this past week is that it's not going to reveal the grand plan to me. It's going to reveal the steps on a daily basis. And I have to follow those steps and trust the path that I'm walking, right? And it's very vulnerable. And I don't know for sure, but I know for sure, if that makes sense. And, all of the work that I do is, hopefully that somebody can get into this information, learn something, grow from it, and activate at a spiritual level. That's all I hope for. And I put a lot of energy and effort to it. So I do hope that if you got a dollar or two to spare, only if you got it to spare. If you don't got it to spare, don't worry about it. Do the work. You'll have more than enough money to spare. You come up crazy, man, just remember, Cash App, $ Hood Mystic 38. Look out for your boy. Much appreciate for y'all tapping in, tuning in with me. Visit the site, whiterabbitsite.com, for more information on that. And yeah, I will catch you all on the flip side. I will. But like I said, I'm only following instructions and working with spirits from here on out. So, what they will say next coming up, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be some good shit, and I'm going to be delivering a message like I always do. So with that all being said, hope y'all enjoyed this transmission, was able to get something out of it. And like I said earlier, if you can, feel free to donate via Cash App, $ Hood Mystic 38. With all of that being said, man, hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And come back to this video, man. I'm sure there were things in it that you had missed. And now that you finally got like a conclusive view, maybe you could watch this video with new eyes and a new understanding, because everything that I put together was completely etymologically based. And the last point that I'll say before I get out of here, if you want to view this full slideshow with all of these etymologies, all of the tables, things of that nature, join me at the Substack. Subscribe. I will re-upload all of this within a couple minutes. So slideshow will be available to you to peruse at your own leisure. And with all of that said, hope you all have a great and wonderful night. I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace.
How you feel? How you feel?
Good, feel good.
What we talking about, real shit, or we talking about rhyme? You talking about millions, or you talking about mine? What we talking about?
Yo, bust it. Look at you.
On the dance floor,
Look at you. Look at you.
I ain't got no pen, I ain't got no pen.